Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing? Yeah, so I decided I got to try to stop saying hi, guys, because, I'm trying to be politically correct, and some people don't like to be referred to as a guy or any particular gender at all. So I figure if I say hello, everybody, then that pretty much covers it. So, anyways, all right. So I am sorry that it's taken me so long to kind of get back on track with the videos for the journals, but just had some stuff happen that just is life, and so I need to move, and so I'm gonna try to get these journals done because I really need to get them done. I really want to get them done, um, and I want to bring you guys along, and yeah, and thank you everybody who purchased the little minis for October. That was pretty awesome. They all sold really fast. Kind of surprised me. But yeah, so I have been wanting to do these charms for a long time, and I've just been collecting all kinds of crazy stuff. And I thought, all right, I'm just gonna do it. So I had picked up a couple, because you have boxes of stuff and you have things just all put away and weird places, and so over the last week or so I've kind of gone through a lot of my little boxes that I keep stuff in, like for tiles, and anyway, so I picked up this I got this at the hardware store, and it's like a larger size storage box, and I actually got two of them. So this is nice because these are, some of them are removable, some are not, and so they actually stay where you put them. But anyways, and they're larger compartments, so just perfect for this kind of stuff. So this is some of the stuff that I wanted to use to make these sort of crazy, junky charms for books, like book tassel dangle things. So anyways, I'll just kind of run through real quickly what I have in here. A lot of them are game pieces. These are little like letter dominoes. There's some bingo. These are little bingo pieces. And then while I was over in Seattle last week, I went to this little vintage, well, it's not really little, it's actually pretty big, this vintage mall. And this one vendor had a whole bunch of this kind of stuff, a bunch of dice and all kinds of stuff, really. But, they have this huge bin of just all these different dice. And so I got a whole bunch of those. And then some Scrabble tiles, some dominoes, some really old dominoes, and some newer ones. These are sort of thin dominoes. There's like letters. Some of these are actually Tim Holtz dice, letter dice, and those are wood. Some, what do you call these? Poker chips. Some little animal dominoes. I think Karla sent me those. These are not, don't go with this. Anyways, and then I had a couple of different little puzzles, little state puzzles. This is one that's all the state birds. So I thought that was kind of cool. So yeah, just a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, a couple of little, oh, these are all the blank ones. These are mahjong tiles. So, okay, so that's that. And that's a good way to organize this kind of stuff so that you can see what you have. And I didn't put all of what I have in here. I just put a little bit of all of this stuff that I have. I have a giant tub with the rest of it, but this is a good, selection of stuff that I can work with. So I just want to show you guys that, and then let me just kind of show you how I've dealt with some of that stuff to make it usable. And okay, stay open. So basically I've just drilled holes in any of the pieces that are wood and attached a little screw eye into that hole, and then I put a drop of super glue on it. I got the super glue that has a little brush, so it's real easy to just brush it a little bit right around the hole. So let me just tell you that I had an issue with the screw eyes. So the screw eyes that I'm using, because I wanted them to be tiny. Like I don't want them to be these big giant ones. Like these are the ones that I've gotten at the hardware store. And they're just a little big, I think. I did use a couple of these, but I wanted smaller ones than that, right? So at Hobby Lobby, they have these little teeny ones, and they're with the like jewelry stuff, you know, where you can buy the like jump rings and that kind of thing. So see, they're tiny. And they have gold ones and silver ones. So, and they're cheap, right? They're like $2.99 for like 75 of them. So, I mean, that's super cheap. The difficulty was finding a drill bit that was small enough to make a hole that would accommodate this and not be too small and not be too large. So let me show you what I found, just in case you guys want to do this. So this brand, I got these at Ace Hardware. They probably have these at Lowe's, but up here where I live, we have 2 options for hardware stores, and they didn't have small enough ones at the first one, but I did find them at Ace Hardware. So these are little tiny drill bits. They're intended for wiring. So they're like this little teeny tiny, right? Anyway, so I just kind of got a selection of different sizes. These were like $2.99 each, and yeah, so I wound up getting 2 of each size just in case I broke one. I didn't want to be without, right? So anyways, so this Irwin brand of drill bits are nice because they're small enough to accommodate that. The 56 and the 52 were actually, no, it was the 56 and the 54 actually that wound up working for these. Okay, so if you look for these, get the size 54 or 53 and those will work. The gold ones are a tiny bit smaller than the silver ones if you get those ones at Hobby Lobby. So the larger the number on these, the smaller the bit. Okay, so like, yeah, so like the 60 is just a little teeny tiny drill bit, right? But the 53 is a little bigger, right? So anyways, just kind of, just if you're going to get them, just get a selection of them. Get like 3 or 4. So, you know what's going to work. Anyway, so that's what I did. And so some of the dice, like these came from a casino. I thought they were pretty cool. Some of the dice I did just like on the top of the dice, right? Like I didn't try to do it on the corner, but the rest of them I did on a corner. And so obviously, you know, it's pretty hard to get a drill to start drilling on a corner, right? Some of the ones, like the Tim Holtz ones, are actually rounded off or kind of flattened off on the corner. And so that makes it a little bit easier. But let me just show you kind of how I do it to actually drill the hole, because it's kind of tricky. Like it has a tendency to sort of slip around and travel, and you don't want that, right? Be really careful when you do this, you guys, because you know you could hurt yourself. So don't hurt yourself. So what I have is just a piece of sandpaper that's glued onto a little popsicle stick, and I just kind of keep that handy. And then let's take one where it doesn't have the edges rounded or flattened. Okay, so I just take a little piece of sandpaper, and holding it like as parallel to the sandpaper as I can, I just sand off the corner. Okay, just a little bit, just to create a flat space, just a little flat area. Okay, and then I actually just hold it in my hand and put the drill bit onto that space. Okay, and then you would think that you would want to start out slow, but you really don't, because if you start out slow, it has a tendency to sort of like travel off. So you really want to just sort of like gun it, right? And yeah, just like that. You sort of want to go full power like right away. Otherwise it slips off. So then you got a little hole. So I'm pushing this in to the drill bit. I'm not pushing the drill bit into this. I'm actually pushing this in. So you can kind of see like how far you've gone. Anyways, and then this might have been the, yeah, so that was too large of a drill bit. That was too large of a drill bit. But anyways, this is the one that I was using for the metal stuff. Yeah, and then I just screw that in. You want to be kind of careful with these silver ones, because if it gets, they have a tendency to want to break off. So you want to make sure that the hole that you're drilling is the right size, and that it goes in with just a little bit of tension, and not too much tension, because if you have to put too much force into screwing this in, it's going to just break right off. It happened a few times. So anyway, so that I'll wind up putting a little bit larger screw eye in that one. Yeah. Yeah. Needed a little bit larger one. It's okay because it's a big dice, so that doesn't really bother me, or a big die, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah. Okay. And then I'll just put a little drop of super glue on that. This one has a little kind of like a fine tip, so that works pretty well. And just a little drop is all it takes. And since it's wood, it sort of soaks in. And then let that dry. Okay, so that's how I deal with the dice. There's plastic ones too, and the plastic ones are really rounded off, but I was able to actually drill into them pretty well. Just hold on to it pretty tight and just, kind of go slow, but full power when you first started out. This one's wood. So anyway, the plastic ones, some of them are real melty. Like they actually will, the heat, the friction of the drill bit will cause a little bit of melting on some. Not all of them, but on some of them they did. So you just kind of have to play around and, see which ones melt. And if they melt a little bit, then you just have to work a little bit harder to get the screw in. So anyways, and then, so that's how I deal with the dice. And then I've got this is just an old book that I don't care about. So I wanted to show you guys, though. I picked up these are like letterpress letters and numbers. So these are made out of brass, so they're pretty hard, but I'm able to actually, if you hold this down. Oh, I forgot to tell you, this bit is intended for metal. So it's stronger, like it's some kind of like titanium or something, and it is intended to drill through metal. So that's get the kind that's for metal. Anyway, so yeah, so then I can just put a little jump ring through that, and what else did I have? Oh, and so these types of things I just did, I just drilled a hole and then either put a eyelet or just drilled a hole in the wooden stuff and then just attached a jump ring. So you have to use a relatively large jump ring to get it through these, because the smaller jump rings, you can't open them far enough to get in there. So so that's those. The mahjong tiles I drilled through the top. These are wooden ones. And the same on these. These are really hard. Dominoes have a tendency to be pretty hard to drill into. So you just kind of have to go slow. I did these little wooden spools of thread. So these were kind of fun. I actually drilled a little hole, like kind of like at an angle through the top. Starting on the inside, I went through like that on that side, and then I did another one on the other side. So then I just threaded the string through one side and wound it all up, and then I threaded it back through the other side, and then I put a little touch of super glue on each side, and I thought I could just use that like a bead, you know. What else is in here? The puzzle pieces, same thing. I just used my crocodile and put a punch in it, or put an eyelet in it. The dominoes, like these real small little black dominoes, I was able to get a jump ring in it. So these were just some beads. These are plastic beads that I've had, but they have a jump ring, so that's cool. And okay, so that's kind of the whole, you know, that's the whole thing. So what I did is I just sort of prepped a bunch of stuff ahead of time and added the jump rings to them already, you know, so that I can just kind of grab stuff out of this box and, you know, and play. And then, of course, there's, you know, these are a bunch of tiles that I had made just with postage stamps. So, you know, I think I have videos where I was doing these, like, you know, way back, but basically I just, you know, glue the stamp onto a piece of chipboard, and then I paint the back of them. These I did with Inca Gold, I think, and then I actually coated them with triple thick and then put the eyelet in. There's a couple that are done on like Scrabble tiles, and then I actually used a little Tim Holtz paper clip as a little like loop holder thing on the back, glued on with triple thick. So anyways, just fun stuff. Buttons. I have a bunch of keys that I wanted to use. These are like all those little keys, just random keys. Some other buttons, bigger buttons that I've sort of picked out of my bigger box of buttons. You know, just all kinds of stuff that is just kind of hanging around, and, you know, I want to use it. And then there's, of course, actual charms. And these, these are fun. So this is, oh my gosh, you guys, it's just crazy. It's craziness. It's too much crap. I don't have enough room on my desk. Excuse me. So I got a little like anvil and some word stamps to stamp on metal, you know, and you can get those like at Hobby Lobby. Can you, or yeah, Hobby Lobby. And sometimes this stuff is like half price. So so that's pretty cool. And then like at Joann's, you can pick up the number sets and the letter sets sometimes for pretty cheap, and especially, you know, with a coupon or whatever. Anyway, so I did some of those, but not too many. And then, so this is just all metal charms and stuff in here. All the numbers, and these are some little bingo things. And anyway, so I just wanted to kind of run through really quickly, like what I'm using, you know. And then let me show you what this looks like. So these are the large ones, okay? I am going to do some smaller ones, and I think I'll make a smaller one on video today. But so this is kind of how they turn out, you know, and I do them all with a clasp, so you can hook it onto whatever you want. And that's just, you know, it's just like a crazy charm dangle thing, and with just all kinds of crazy stuff on it. And there's lots of room, so you could add more stuff. I've used pretty heavy duty jump rings, so, you know, it can handle a pretty good amount of weight. At the end, I added one of these rings. These are like connector rings that you can get in packs of like 50, I think, at Joann's. And yeah, these I think came from Joann's. So it's just like a big, I mean, it's pretty generous, I think, the amount that you get in like in one package. So I did that so that, you know, you could add more I'm intending to sell these individually, not attached to a book. So I was going to make up a whole bunch of them and put them in my shop. But anyway, so I did put a ring at the very end so that you could attach your own charms as time goes by, you know. So there's lots of room on there. So anyways, and then chain, you can get chain anywhere, right? You can reclaim it from old jewelry. You know, you can buy jewelry like at thrift stores and stuff and just look for large link chain. And yeah, so this actually came from Joann's, but I have used chain that I've gotten off of jewelry quite a bit. And then I do like to use a clasp. I like the lobster clasps because they're real secure, and you know, a larger one so that it's easier to, first of all, find it on here. You know, like it's like kind of, you saw I even struggled trying to find the clasp, but I like to use a relatively large clasp. And, you know, if I was making smaller ones, I would make smaller clasps or use smaller clasps. But yeah, so these came from Hobby Lobby. And, but you know, you can get clasps pretty cheap. Like these type, these are lanyard clips. And these, I think they sell these at Joann's and like a pack of 50 for like $3.99 or something. So those are kind of cool. I picked these up to, oh, these are actually from like, fishing tackle. Okay. So this is another type of really secure clasp that will not come off once you know, get it on. So that's kind of cool. These came from, yeah, I got these in the like fishing gear. And then I picked these up today at Hobby Lobby. It's like a little ring clasp. It looks like a book ring, but this part just like goes in, you know. So those are really secure too. I thought I could use some of those. And then there's also the you know, the small Tim Holtz book rings. So I know I'm talking a lot and I haven't actually done anything, and I'm sorry, but there's a lot that I kind of wanted to talk about. So anyway, so these work pretty well as a clasp also, and I like to use these on books, you know. So anyways, let's put one of these together. I want to do like a sort of small-ish one where it's not crazy big. So, whoops, let me pull out my pliers. So you definitely need 2 sets of pliers for working with jump rings. They sell these little rings that you can put on your finger that help you open jump rings, but my hands are too big for those. Anyway, so this one I'm just going to do with like 3 links, I think. No, 4 links. And so you just find where it opens. And then when you open jump rings, you always want to twist this way, that way. You never want to pull them apart because you'll never get them back. Well, I mean, you would, but it's difficult to get them back perfectly the way they were. So then just close it back up. Okay. So there's my little bit of chain. And then I also like to use a swivel. If the clasp I'm using already has a swivel on it, then, you know, of course you don't need to worry about that. But, like, whoops, this clasp already has a swivel. And that just helps to ensure that it doesn't get like tangled up really bad. That's why I like to use a swivel. So I get these are for fishing, you know, tackle. And so I got a little swivel, and they're so cheap, you guys. They sell these super cheap because they get lost in the water all the time. They have to make them cheap, right? Okay, jump rings. So I've got like an assortment of jump rings. I don't care usually about the color of the metal. That I really don't really pay too much attention to it, because this is really, I don't know, like I actually like the look of having mixed base metals on this type of stuff, especially for junk journals, you know. Anyway, so I'm just putting a jump ring on one end of the swivel and then through the chain, through the end of the chain. Close that up. Okay, and then I want to put a ring on the end of it. So grab one of these. Another jump ring. Put it through the end of the chain and then put the big ring on. Okay, and then to get the clasp on, let's use a silver one just for fun. Whoops, where's my clasp? Thought I pulled one out that I was going to use. Guess not. Okay, so we'll use that clasp. Through the ring on the end of the clasp, and then through the other end of the swivel. If you know how to use jump ring pliers and you have split ring pliers and you have split rings, those are actually better, I think, to use as far as connecting the clasp to the swivel and stuff. They're just, you know, it's just like a little teeny little key ring, and those actually are sort of indestructible, you know. They're highly unlikely to just bend apart. So, you know, you want to use a heavier gauge jump ring when you're doing this, just because, you know, things get caught on stuff or they get pulled or whatever. And, you know, I mean, it is possible that you could pull this apart, but it would take a little bit of force to do that. Okay, so then I've got this, right? So then what I do is I'll actually attach jump rings, and I'm using these larger ones because I want you to be able to add more stuff to these later on down the road. Okay, so I'm just going to attach these larger jump rings all the way down the chain. I'm going to put one on each link of the chain. Sometimes these I can just bend open with my hand, but it saves time. But for some reason, closing them, I need to use the pliers. I've been wanting to do this video for quite a while. They didn't have any more of the silver ones today. See, that's a split ring. And it sucked because they were all half price. So maybe that's why they didn't have any silver ones. I don't know. Yeah, I've been wanting to make this video for quite a while, but I didn't have the jump rings that I needed. So I ventured out in the world today. Went to the post office, shipped all of my mini journals to everybody. Well, not my mini journals anymore. Shipped those all out today. One customer, actually, I went through the drive-through drop-off thing at the post office, and I had one package that wouldn't fit in the slot. So that one has not gone out, but I will take it tomorrow. And it's because the reason I didn't get it into the post office is because it was like, we had like this little blizzard that just like blasted through earlier today, right when I was at the post office. Anyway, so it's kind of a chicken. I didn't want to get out of the car. Okay, so I've got that, and I've put jump rings all down the chain. Okay, so then I'm going to be using little bit smaller jump rings. And I've got those in a couple different colors. These ones are actually heavier. For some reason, they don't have this gauge in that color at Hobby Lobby. I don't know why. But anyway, so these ones are pretty thick. So twist it open, and then just want to grab something, hook it on there, and then just attach this stuff. And this is the fun part, you know, just adding junky junk. And, you know, you can be creative with the stuff that you include on these, you know. So the idea, to me, the idea is that these are items that have some significance to you, you know. So like, you know, if you were on vacation or something and, you know, you pick up a seashell or whatever, you know, you can drill a hole through it or even glue something onto it to attach it to a charm. Make it a charm. Let's add a dice. I love charms. They're charming. They're so charming. All right. Let's add a number. Okay. Actually, that one, I had another one in here. Oh, let's add this little metal. This is the letter S. I'm going to use a skinnier jump ring on this one. And okay, this one I'm going to add to the ring that the clasp is attached to. So it's a little bit higher up. And then I'm going to add, I'm just going to attach this jump ring to this number. And then I'm going to use another one to attach it to the chain. And that's because it's, I want it to be able to move around. I like to make sure that things kind of move freely when I put this stuff together. I don't like things to sort of get stuck in one position. I like them to really, you know, be able to move. Let's see, what else do I want to put on here? Let's add this little squirrel. It's a little, it's like the state animal. I don't know what state that is, but it's a squirrel. And let's put it on this chain, on this link. So I'm attaching these to those jump rings, not to the chain. All right, so then just, you know, you want to kind of hold it up and take a look at it. And I need more stuff up in here, right? Because it's like real empty right there. So I'm going to add, let's just add one of these beads. And then I want to do a key. I'm going to add a key on here. Let's just use this master lock key. So this one, I'm going to put it onto a larger jump ring by itself. And then I'm going to attach it also to that ring that the clasp is on. There we go. There, and it makes some sound too. And then let's put something pretty on here. How about this butterfly charm? that on there. So there's plenty of spaces, plenty of rings and loops and, you know, things like that. Whoops. For you to hook things on here, you know. Yeah. I mean, I could just keep going, you know, like I could add, I really liked this little thing. It's almost like it's like a sheriff's little star or something. It's kind of cool. So I'm going to put that on here. And then I've done other videos where I was actually making charms out of beads. And so that's kind of fun too. So you can use head pins and stuff to make charms using all kinds of different beads. Oh, and then I want to add some charms onto that ring. Let's see. How about we can put that little key on there, and then maybe a little bit of bling, like that little sparkly bead. And a gear. And then something little, like a little bee or something. So I might need some smaller jump rings because these guys are, the holes in these charms are sort of small. So if you run into that, you need to have smaller jump rings. That'll work. It's nice to have a good assortment of jump rings to accommodate like really small holes and stuff. Oh my gosh, I can't see this. I have to kind of angle my light off to the side when I'm making a video, because if I don't, it makes this horrible glare on the desk. I don't see a big glare when I'm working, but as soon as yeah, anyways. So it's a little dark in here right now to me. Okay. So I've gotten, okay, so I have a little jump ring on each item. This I didn't, let me put one on there though. Just hook it on the side. So I didn't get any buttons on this one, but that's okay. Ooh, you know what? I want to put this little bingo piece on there too. Okay, so these guys, I'm gonna attach a couple things, like I'm putting the bingo piece and the gear on the same ring, and then just attaching it there. Okay, and then these smaller things, I'm going to use these smaller jump rings, go through the jump ring, and then onto the charm ring. My fire's going out. I think I can bring it back to life as soon as I get done here. But yeah, so just, you know, pretty little things. I might do another video when I get done with this, kind of showing you a different type of book charm that I like to do with waxed cotton and beads and stuff. Yeah, and these I want to put these on some of the journals that we're making. So that's why I'm actually doing this, right? There is some reasoning here. Yeah, so these are going to go. I'm not, this big one, I don't know if I'm going to put this on that big journal or on one of those Reader's Digest journals, but I'm trying to make these as I'm making the charms for the books, at the same time. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I will. Who knows? But I'm making 18 journals, so I don't know if I want to do 18 of these, because I want to try to keep the costs down on the journals too. But I am going to start doing these, I think, separately, and just until I get tired of doing it. But I'm really having fun making these because they're just, I don't know, there's just all kinds of stuff that you can add, and you know, yeah. Anyway, okay, so that's that. I wrote down questions from previous video comments that I want to answer, and I'm going to do that in the next video. I think I'm going to film another video and do those other charms. They'll be on, you know, cord like this. So, okay. So, yeah, all right. We're good. Okay, I got to move all this stuff out of the way and get my fire back to life, and then I will film another video. Okay, guys, love you. Let me know what you think, or if you have any questions, you know, just drop it in the comments. And don't forget, a thumbs up is always a good thing. Okay, love you. Bye.